Hi there, Steve Kaufman. Today I want to talk about reading, the importance of reading, and just how powerful it is as a way of learning languages, as a way of learning about things in general. Reading is tremendously powerful. Now, there are people who say, I don't like to read. I like to watch movies. And I have never considered watching movies as a great way to learn languages. To me, watching movies is either a reward for having learned the language or a stimulus. So I'll give you two examples. Um, my wife likes to watch these different language movies and series on Netflix. And so she got us watching this thing called Grand Hotel, which is a Spanish series, and I'm now sort of addicted to it, and we watch it every night. But it's in Spanish, and so it's tremendously enjoyable for me to watch this movie and understand the Spanish. That's a reward. If movies come on television at home, typically in Canada, they're in the original version. If it's in German, if it's in Chinese, if it's in Japanese, it's tremendously rewarding to be able to watch the movie in the language. But it's also a stimulus. When I started with Russian, I remember watching this movie, Zhestoky Romance, which was a story out of the 19th century. It's actually a play called Bezbredanitsa, Without a Dowry, by Ostrovsky. But it was so romantic. It was so out of the 19th century, Russia far away. Wow, I want to learn that language. So movies, it's fun. It stimulates you. It's a reward. But I can't learn from that. I learn so much more from reading and, of course, from listening. Because I read, I'm sitting on a plane, I open a book, there are so many situations. And the words then, reading is so word rich. You have to connect words to meaning. There's no picture, there's nothing to explain or to show you what's happening. You have to be able to imagine that from the words. So to me, reading is tremendously powerful. That's why with my Arabic, for example, I could have decided to go with a phonetic script and try to get to where I can say some things right away. Hello, how are you? What's your name? And I can't do that in Arabic. But I am determined to become a reader of Arabic because reading is a way that I can continue to improve my knowledge in the language. I can read online, I can import things into LingQ and read, whereas my ability to find people to speak to in Arabic is going to be limited. So reading to me is extremely important, and I'm always willing to invest the time, and I also recommend to people invest the time in learning the script, whether it be the Cyrillic alphabet for Russian or Ukrainian, or Chinese characters, or the Japanese, hiragana or hangul, or the Greek, or whatever it might be. In Arabic, I want to learn the script so that I can read, so that I will have this ability at any time to pick up something and read it and be constantly improving in the language. Now, some people say, well, I can read, but I can't speak. Well, to speak, you have to speak. So at some point you have to speak, and you have to speak a lot. But many of the people who have said to me, I can read, but I have trouble speaking, in fact, they don't read very much. So I say, well, what do you read in English? Like I've seen this with immigrants. They say, well, I can read. That's not my problem. I can't speak. And I say, what do you read? For example, have you ever read a novel in English? Have you read a novel from, the beginning to the end? No. Okay. So if you read the odd newspaper article, that's not really reading. I want to get to where I have read novels in Polish, in Russian. I haven't yet done so in Greek. I never reached that level, but I want to get to that level. I want to get to, on our LingQ count, 30, 40, 50,000 known word level so that I can pick up books and read them from cover to cover, because that is really going to bring the language into me. Now, there are people who say, I'm elitist, because lots of people learn languages and can't read, illiterate societies where people speak 2 or 3 or 4 languages. Well, sure, that's true. Of course that's true. there was a period when we had no writing. I mean, Homer, the great, bard writer of Ulysses, the Odyssey and the Battle of Troy and all this kind of stuff, the Iliad. In those days, we had this wonderful oral tradition, the great, Ramayana stories in Southeast Asia and so forth. These are all oral traditions. Yeah, but in the meantime, we invented writing. Writing is a way of recording speech, just like a tape recorder or an MP3 player records speech. So we use these recording devices in order to carry sound with us. Listening is very powerful. By the same token, we have developed writing. So why wouldn't we use it? Why would we say, no, I don't want to read. I just want to rely on hearing it. Again, people do what they want to do. But to me, reading, and Stephen Krashen is very strong on this, he feels that if we just allowed and encouraged people to read, kids in school, they would learn better, their language skills would improve more than any deliberate instruction and explanation of grammar and so forth and so on. Because we can consume so much by reading, and this is all training our brain in the language, whether it be our own language. I mean, obviously, those people who express themselves the best in their own language are typically people who read a lot. If you want to improve your ability to express yourself, to write, if you want to write better, you have to read more and read material that is well written. So, reading is tremendously convenient. It's a powerful way to learn, and we have to train ourselves. And obviously, like if I watch the Spanish movie and my wife likes to have the English subtitles on, I have no trouble following the English subtitles. Even in if they had Spanish subtitles, which would be better in my opinion, from a language learning perspective, I would be able to keep up because it's the same script. However, if I watch a Chinese movie and they have Chinese subtitles, I have real trouble keeping up. Similarly with Cyrillic or any writing system that we have had less exposure to. So the key there is, the more you expose yourself to a writing system, the more you train the brain in reading, the better you're going to read. There's a constant, gradual, not noticeable, but nevertheless gradual improvement. So my advice to people is, in all of your various language learning activities, make sure you do enough reading. It's a very powerful way to improve in any language. And some people may want to spend their time watching TV and listening to music. I don't think in the long run that's going to take you as far as committing to doing a lot of reading. Bye for now.